Rolling up to the house. Here come the bad guys. She throws her stuff at him. Goes off. She tries to get inside the car, the house, and here it is again. Bad guy rolls up. Now, let's look at this in slow motion. Boom! Byron Rodgers, Tactical Protection Review. Learn protection strategies from a protection professional. This poor lady was attacked while trying to get into her own home or a residence. What can we learn from this situation? One of the first things I always talk about is transitional spaces, right? What's the trifecta? What are the building blocks of personal protection? Remember, these videos are not about you spending time at the dojo or the mat room or whatever, the range. These videos are designed to help you live a safer pattern of life. And since this is something that's happening more and more these days, how can we help defend ourselves against these things? Yes, having an equalizer, having a weapon is a good thing. But if I can teach you some steps to help you avoid or be more prepared for something like this, that is the goal. So, first things first, rolling up to the house, okay? This poor lady was ambushed, and ambushes work. That's the first thing you have to understand. So where do we start actually doing things that make us better protectors before the situation begins? Context. I'm in a transitional space. 80% of attacks are going to happen in transitional spaces. Spaces between when I'm going from point A to B, right? Macro and micro, traveling from New York to California, but also on the other side of things, traveling from my workplace to my car, traveling from my car to my front door. These are the places where you get hit, and this is the place where she got hit. So before you even get out of your car, context. I'm about to go into a transitional space, eyes up. If I have any force multipliers with me, I need to be able to bring those to bear so that I can stay ahead of the bad guy, right? So understanding I'm pulling up in my driveway, it's time for me to be paying attention. I'm gonna be uncovered, I'm gonna be unsafe for a few minutes. That's what you wanna be doing. Once you know you're safe, then you can get out of your car. These guys rolled up, and she may have seen them slow rolling if she was sitting in her car looking for them, right? These guys roll up just in time for her to be out of her vehicle. That makes it more complicated. My man gets out and he pulls his gun and begins sprinting to her. If she was a person who'd been training in the art of gunfire, there's a chance if when he first got out of his vehicle, if instead of grabbing her purse, she drew a weapon and began to return fire, that she could have possibly defended herself in the situation. Most criminals aren't looking for resistance. But do you ever want to draw on a drawn gun? Not really. So what she did, I'm not even mad at her at all for what she did. Now, if you're going to draw on a drawn firearm, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. He keeps the firearm out of reach, close to her. He keeps one arm out to post up so he can still, if he needs to use that firearm, he can still use that firearm and shoot from a hip, at the hip type of position. That is actually pretty good on his end. And he frisks her real quick. She surrenders, says, "Give me the money," and he runs off with the money. Let's see if the second one has any volume on it. He frisks her. Boom. There's a face shot. So, what did we just hear? Tanisha said you got the money. Tanisha said you've got the money. Another layer of this type of attack is intelligence. Making sure that you're keeping your business protected is something that is more important now than it's ever been before, because the way the laws are working in America and many of the places around the world, they're very criminal centric, right? So if he steals, anyway, laws are very criminal centric. So crime is rampant due to bad lawmakers and bad values in society that have made it so that emotional discipline, emotional intelligence is at an all-time low, and bad behavior goes unpunished so often. The values have changed. The law of our nation has changed. These guys don't get in trouble anymore, hardly, for these things. law enforcement response has been greatly castrated. So you are your only line of defense, and keeping your information private is a huge part of that. It has to do with posting online, posting your valuables online, posting when you're out on vacations online. Many attacks that happen within the executive protection, private security world come from inside, people who know what you have and where it is. You go on vacation, you come back and your house is cleaned out, or they grabbed exactly what they came for. So information protection is another huge piece of this puzzle when it comes to protection. Now, if you're going to draw on a drawn firearm, what you're looking for is an opportunity when his attention is diverted, right? So when he's looking down, when he turns his back right about here, you can tell that his attention is diverted. The only complication with something like this is you do not, in most states at least, you really have to be careful if you're not drawing on someone if you're drawing on someone who's not actively posing a threat. So with his attention being down into the ground here, and him not necessarily facing her, it's not necessarily a good time to pull out a weapon, okay? Because when they do their investigation, they'll see that he was not posing an active threat at that exact moment. Now, there's arguments, was she fear for her life and all that other stuff. People still get shot even though they surrender. He takes the money and he runs off. Another thing that she could have done is, if she knows she's coming home with money, she knows she's in a transitional space. You can see here at the end of the video, after the encounter, right, she turns around and what does she do? Tanisha said, you have the money. She turns around and she starts to try to get into the house because she believed someone was at the house and someone was in there. So if you're coming home and you have money, this is a good time to use all of your force multipliers. If someone else is home, say, hey, I'm gonna be home with the money in a few minutes, open the door and go on ahead and just get ready for my arrival, maybe meet me in the front yard. These are different steps you can take to make sure that you're living a safer pattern of life. If you are transporting money, you have to know that while you have that money, you are possibly a target, unless you've done everything necessary to cut off all avenues of information about what you're doing and where you're going has gotten out. Hey, come and train with us at the League of Executive Protection Specialists. Come train with us at Protector Nation. Our mission is to make the world a safer place by helping good people to become more dangerous. Hit the link beneath the screen and let's make the world a safer place. This is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade. Out. Boom.